The departure of Chris Paul has caused everyone to sell their stock in the Clippers and the potential for them to compete for a championship. The big three of Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan has teased Clippers fans for the past 6 years, as they looked poised to make at least the conference finals year after year, only to be torn down by injuries, suspensions, and the gaping hole at the small forward position. With the departure of Chris Paul, predictions have been pouring in for the Clippers to stumble this year. Big time. Bleacher Report predicts them with 42 wins, Las Vegas with 43, and Dan Favale of Bleacher Report predicts them with a measly 34 wins. I think the Vegas line area is a fair representation of the middle-of-the-road expectations for this team. But in this video, I will show you why Blake Griffin could explode as one of the best players in the league, and the Clippers could shock the league and win 50+ games for the 6th year in a row. The biggest piece in the success of the Clippers is Blake Griffin himself. He just signed a mammoth 5-year, $173 million contract this offseason, and for the Clippers to do well, Blake will have to play up to his contract. I've been a long-time believer in Blake. When he first came to the league, he was an Energizer bunny on the court, sprinting up and down in transition and thriving in the pick and roll to get lobs, dunks, and layups at the rim. From this athletic freak, he grew as a player, adapted to injuries, and developed as a mid-range shooter, post player, and passer. I firmly believe he can be the first option on a playoff team, and even potentially a strong playoff team that could win multiple series. During the 2013-2014 NBA season, Chris Paul was injured for almost 20 games. During this stretch, we got our best glimpse of how the Clippers will play with just Blake. They ran a lot of post action, high post action, and even some Blake and DeAndre pick and rolls to create good looks at the basket. For this stretch, Blake absolutely dominated, averaging 27.5 points, 8.2 rebounds, 4.4 assists per game on 55.4% field goal shooting. If Blake posted anywhere near this stat line, he would be an MVP candidate and would help lead the Clippers to a playoff spot quite comfortably. This is a real possibility for Blake. His injuries appear to have subsided, and the Clippers are confident that he will be healthy for the upcoming season. Furthermore, his teammates are absolutely perfect to set Blake up as the primary offensive option and even as a point forward at times. Milos Teodosic may be a rookie, but he is 30 years old and has had huge experience at CSKA Moscow. Over his time there, he has developed into one of the most talented passing point guards in basketball. It will be interesting to see how this translates to the NBA, and many criticise that he may struggle dealing with the length of NBA defenses. However, he is a 6'5" point guard, and the Clippers look set to play quite a tall lineup themselves, meaning he will frequently be guarded by smaller point guards, and most NBA shooting guards aren't much bigger than Teodosic. For this reason, I think he will be fine with the NBA defense, and will actually benefiting from having a far more talented teammates to pass to and create space for him in the paint. Danilo Gallinari is also the most talented small forward that Blake has ever played with, and the big wing can shoot threes and hold some offensive pressure for Blake as well. If teams want to double Blake this year in the paint, they'll have to give up a three. Previously, they could sag off of Wesley Johnson or Luke Mabara-Mute, and it allowed them to pack the paint, ruining the Clippers' spacing. But now the Clippers can have 3 shooters on the court and DJ, making it incredibly difficult to double Blake and guard the Clippers effectively. The acquisitions of Lou Williams, Sam Decker, Patrick Beverley in the CP3 trade weren't an accident at all. All 3 of these guys fit the bill of 3-point shooting as described above. Starting with Beverley, he is a point guard that is used to being the secondary ball handler and will allow Blake to play some point forward minutes with the bench if Doc wants to go that route. He is ferocious on defense and will give the Clippers great options for when the league's best offensive guards come to town. And Lou Williams is the polar opposite, an absolute liability on defense, but a go-to guard off of the bench if you are in need of quick offense. Lou Williams is bottled lightning on offense. Uncork him and let him work wonders on the court. He has a knack for catching fire and draining 3 after 3, or taking his man off of the dribble with crafty dribbles, crossovers, and hesitation moves. The Clippers bench has often been lifeless over the past 5 years, and they've relied heavily on their starting 5. Sweet Lou should take some steps to remedy this, and hopefully the Clippers bench can create rather than lose leads this year. And then there is Blake's most proven and best teammate, longtime friend, and all-around athletic freak, DeAndre Jordan. Jordan provides so much to this Clippers team, with his rim protection, defensive rebounding, and gravity as a roll man in the pick and roll. This gravity is incredibly important in the NBA and especially important to the Clippers. When you put DJ into a pick and roll, the defense has to account for his presence rolling to the rim and the potential for the guard or for Blake to throw the lob pass for an easy dunk. This makes it harder to close out and seal off the space for a jumper, or means that you have to slide a help defender over, leaving someone open for three on the perimeter. And as mentioned before, there isn't really anyone you want to sag off from on this Clippers roster anymore. At least anyone getting significant playing time. And despite Chris Paul not being on this team, the Clippers still have capable pick and roll ball handlers in Beverley, Milos, and Blake. And they may get even more creative with ball movement and screening sets, and look to use DJ to screen for Blake or Gallinari off of the ball before immediately diving to the rim in case the defense overcommits. And Doc Rivers is one of the biggest believers in DeAndre, and has previously said he believes he should be considered for Defensive Player of the Year. Whilst I agree DJ is a good defender, Defensive Player of the Year is just a little bit of an exaggeration. But it does indicate Doc's love of DJ and the potential for him to have an expanded role in the offense, one which looks to give some more lobs and passes to one of the most efficient players in the NBA. But where the Clippers have true potential is their defense. The Clippers have been a strong defense for the past few years and have the potential to be top 10 again. DJ provides strong interior presence, and Blake is a solid defender who can also help effectively clean the glass on the defensive end. And then there's Patrick Beverley, who will look to lock down strong guards. However, Milos is an unproven defensive prospect, and it will be intriguing to see how he goes on that end in the NBA. And on top of this, Gallinari has never been a great defender, and ever since he has bulked up a little bit, it has only really gotten worse. The Clippers will have to manage his minutes so that he plays at the 4 whenever Blake rests. If they play big minutes with Gallinari, Blake, and DJ on the court, the Clippers will simply get blown out of the water by small teams. Regardless of these potential defensive issues, the fact remains that this roster has a lot of talent, and if Doc can figure it out, they will be a lot better than recent predictions. And if Blake plays up to his full potential, he will be an absolute nightmare to stop. This is a guy who has been a top 3 MVP finisher before in his career, and has proven he can put a team on his back and get wins. If he can do so with this team, they have the potential to make serious progress this season. I do still think they are worse than the Warriors, Rockets, OKC, and the Spurs, especially after the Carmelo trade. However, they will be in strong contention for the playoffs and even up to the 5th seed, and if Blake returns to his phenomenal play and has a healthy year, they could shoot even higher. This is the most intriguing storyline on the Clippers this year. Just how good is Blake, and how good will he be on this roster? Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to like and subscribe for more NBA videos in the future, and leave a comment below on your thoughts on the Clippers and Blake Griffin.